You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
As we come to Proverbs 30, it turns to the words of Agur, son of Jacob, the oracle, it says. And it begins by saying, "The man declares, I am weary, O God. I am weary, O God. I am worn out. Surely I am too stupid to be a man. I have not the understanding of a man. I have not learned wisdom, nor have I knowledge of the Holy One, who has ascended to heaven and come down, who has gathered the wind in his fists." And it goes on through verse 9, and it basically is a view of the person and God. And so often what happens is we are so full of ourselves that we don't see God. And so he kind of says this, "Two things I ask of you, deny them not to me." This is verse 7, "Before I die, remove far from me falsehood and lying." And then he says, "Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food that is needful for me, lest I be full and deny you and say, 'Who is the Lord?' Or lest I be poor and steal and profane the name of my God." This is just a simple prayer that says, God, I want nothing more than to know you in fullness. And that's the introduction to the chapter. And then there are 5 little poems, and we'll take one each day, that speak to something specific. Verse 15 and 16, there's a few more exhortations here leading up to it, but it says this in verse 15, actually 16, it says this, "The leech has 2 daughters. Give. 3 things are never satisfied. 4 never say enough." And then it goes on, and these are the markers, because he says there are these 3 things, 4 things, and the number varies. And then he says, here's what they are. And the idea is, as you understand what's in common, you understand what it's saying. Sheol, the barren womb, the land never satisfied with water, and fire that never says enough. And then verse 17 doesn't really fit in any of these quadrants, but it says, "The eye that mocks a father and scorns to obey a mother will be picked out by ravens of the valley and eaten by the vultures." Not exactly easy reading here or thought process, but really what this is, I believe, simply saying is that one of the things that's hardest to endure is a barren womb, because it will never be satisfied. That's the idea of these images here. And that is something that you may say, well, that's not really particularly insightful or encouraging in any way. But here's probably why this is important to note and why it's probably included here, and that is it reminds us to be compassionate to those who have tried and desired to have kids, and for whatever reason it has not happened. And it reminds us that it is a natural and good desire to have children. And so this is something that's important in the way that we think about what happens with barrenness. The 4 insatiables is here, and this is basically giving us this very idea. The 2 pairs, Sheol, ever yearns to end life, the barren womb, which ever yearns to produce life. And then the arable land, this is from Bruce Waltke, which is never satisfied with enough water to sustain crops, and fire, which ever destroys the harvest. And then he says, as the created order is ever engaged in an unending battle between life and death, similarly, in a moral order, the wise ever strive against evil without ever attaining utopia. And so his way of understanding this isn't just to say, these are all just 4 things that yearn, but because of the opposite nature of these, it reminds us that when you have a desire for life or whatever, and then it comes, that there's death that still comes. and that when you're trying to produce something, there's something that destroys. So understand that you will never produce complete utopia in this world or things exactly as you want. As soon as you get what you want, something else will come and take it away. Why is that wisdom? Why is that needed? Because without it, we will be constantly disappointed and constantly demanding instead of celebrating and enjoying the moments that are good. So today, be satisfied with what you have rather than always saying, I need something else. And if you are in a place at a season where things are good, live in that moment fully.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.